I would like to ask Sarah as well. Could you please share some of what was in this space for you?
Sure. Hi everybody. So I feel like from the beginning, through fate, just embodied the concept of friction here. And I mean, from the very first meeting, Adam and I were in a breakout room together, and like some tech issue, I don't even remember what it was, but we couldn't hear each other. We had to call each other on the phone. I think my headphones weren't working because it was just kind of like, it wasn't bad, but it was a little like, okay, chaotic. And so it's kind of started off with that theme, and it seemed to stick all the way through for me, which isn't bad. I think it was actually good, and I think it was I think it's like a super important message for me, and also just in this project. So that's kind of how it started, and then I can't remember if it was the second meeting that I missed, or I ended up meeting I'm just gonna like lay it all out there because this is part of this whole thing of talking to strangers and being curious and learning. I admitted early on that I had recently quit drinking alcohol after being like a highly functioning alcoholic for a long time. And then I missed a class because I was accidentally high because I thought I ate a CBD gummy. It was a THC one, and I don't do that. So it knocked me out until the next day. So I was like, oh, man, I'm coming in great, and I'm doing great. And then I was supposed to meet with my farmer this past weekend, and I never heard from him. It was a windy day. I don't really know what happened. He's kind of like a private older man. I'm not crying, but I didn't get to meet with him when I was supposed to. And then also during that week, I was supposed to meet with Brooke, Felicity, and Eric, just have conversations with them. Or I'm sorry, not Brooke yet. At that point, it was Felicity and Eric. And it just didn't happen. So I went into the last meeting being like, oh, I didn't meet with my person. I didn't get to talk to anyone. I mean, and I was kind of just like, man, like this is just, and I always have tech issues. This is the first time I think where I haven't like had to, I don't get kicked out because my internet failed. Like this is the first time there hasn't been a tech issue. So it's just, I feel like that has just been kind of my rolling theme of I intend to have it happen this way and then it goes this other way. And I still plan on speaking to my farmer. I'm planning on, he said he'll do it this weekend. So I'm really hoping for that. He's my neighbor, but I've never gotten very personal with him. So that's why I wanted now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like that might almost be a hindrance because I think he's like, oh, it's my neighbor, it's Sarah. Like we drank beer together, it's not a big deal. But I don't know anything about him personally other than like his view on politics, really, So I kind of maybe think he's being a little too casual with it. Thinking we'll just hang out when we hang out. But anyway, yeah, so I feel like my thing has kind of just been, even though it hasn't fully happened yet, I did talk to Brooke last night and Felicity yesterday, and I will say just amazing. Like, so they've had great vibes. Everyone has had great vibes. All of you even now, just great vibes. But to actually get on the phone and like have an intimate thing and be like, wow, we connect on these things. You know about this that I like, and I don't know about this. You could teach me this. Like, just to see, I don't know, like it was so beautiful. Like when I was talking to Felicity, she was outside and the clouds were going behind her in Australia, and she showed me like a place where she's gonna put a garden. And then Brooke and I have a ton of stuff in common with like, she's like an OG like health person, like, the biohacking supplements, like all that stuff back in the day. It was really amazing. So even though like I rolled in immediately with friction, like from day one with Adam, minute one with Adam pretty much. And then, I had my big admission and I missed the class over something somewhat embarrassing, but whatever, it happens. I think I've really learned that, everybody here won't always have the best conversation, meaning by that, I mean, it won't always go the way you want. Maybe you can't connect or you do connect and it goes terribly, or I love that there are a lot of like everybody's story before mine was like, great, beautiful, successful, it went well. Mine, nothing bad happened really, but it didn't go, it's not one of those like success stories necessarily in that classical way. But I mean, I love being here. I'm so happy that I got to partake in this. And I think it's just, I will add that little bit to the pot that sometimes it doesn't go the way you thought it would have, but it doesn't mean it didn't go exactly as it was meant to necessarily. And that you didn't add something just by being there. And it's not a failure. It wasn't like disappointing necessarily to me. So yeah, I think it's just kind of like to embrace the friction. And even if it doesn't go the way you planned or wanted it to, there's still some like beautiful lesson to be there. And also, I think a lot of the things that happened to me could have been fearful. Like Henrik brought up the one point, like, I think he said something like, I took it as like, at this point, man, a lot of people would have just not even came back, because between the tech issues, the accidentally being high, you didn't connect with your farmer, like, just most people maybe would have been like, all right, I'm gonna go now because this isn't working out for me. But in that, like, I found love instead of being fearful with it and being like, oh no, they're gonna think I'm this. I was just like, I love them. Like, I love these people here. I loved connecting with them. And the friction could have been fearful, but I think it was actually really cool. So I think I went over time, but that's my story.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks
Thank you so much,
everyone.
And that's the key thing that I keep repeating here in this program. If people keep showing up, then we're not going to quit on you ever, right? So that's what this community is about. But you are doing exactly, Sarah, what the only thing that we're asking: keeping showing up and being present. Then we will be there for you. Adam?
Henrik, I'd love to add. I mean, that was amazing. And the one, Sarah, like literally from the very first call, like we had to jump on the phone and call, and the one of the key parts of gratitude-based learning is that it's not that this is all good, this is all bad. It's like, just be grateful for what is. The GMO farmer, not all bad, not all amazing. Like, how can we be grateful for what exists? How can we be grateful for the bad, the friction, right? How can we be grateful for that and get really curious about what's there? And just thank you everyone for sharing your stories so authentically. And